I double tapped it. Hey, it's Bill. You're tuned in to episode number 60 of 3 Questions and a Song, the podcast where the title says it all, except for when it doesn't. With me tonight are Faith and Michael from Dynasty Zero. So this question, right off the bat, I'm going to start off with a question that doesn't count. So, Michael, back when I interviewed you in January of 2020, the band name was spelled with an X, and now it's a zero. Now it's a Z on the zero.
Yeah.
What happened there?
We decided that we liked the new spelling better because we had a problem of people not being able to find us online because they didn't know how to spell the name.
So it's just as simple as that.
Just as simple as that.
Back in the late 90s, there was a band in this area named Super Zero, and they spelled it with the X as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay, so as I mentioned off the air, it's 3 questions, some side questions, but 3 main questions, and I'm going to start right off the bat with the first one. And the song that we're going to feature later tonight is called Sweet Summer Night, and it's the first song of the summer for you, which makes me believe that means that you're going to be releasing some more songs throughout the summer. How is that going to work, and what made you decide to go that way instead of releasing an EP or an LP?
So we decided we have 4 songs that we're coming out with this summer, at least. We may do more, but they're going to be released every 3 weeks. So the next one is going to come out on July 9th. And we decided to do it this way for the purpose of having more of a consistent stream of content instead of just having something come up every once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
So spread it out and keep yourself relevant throughout the summer.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so this next question, each of you can take a shot at.
Okay, cool.
So let's say you get a TV time slot. It's like the perfect time slot. You're going to hit the most amount of people in the world, and you can tell them anything about your band, but you only have 3 minutes. What are you going to tell them that will bring those potential fans into Dynasty Zero's show?
Oh, I love that. I honestly think, okay, sorry, I just jumped at it first. I think just that combination of like, if you love old classic rock and you want it like modern day, I would kind of say that, with also just like a happy like feel. Like, even we were questioning changing the band name for a while to something summery, because a lot of our songs at the moment are summer based, and just kind of like falling in love in the summertime and things like that. So just kind of, if you're looking for like a positive jumping to the beat, but also love classic rock.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And I would say, what I would really say is we're really just a straight up rock band. Like, if you like such and such bands, Guns N' Roses, hello, Motley Crue, also hello, Poison's one of my favorite bands. Even stuff like Aerosmith, Cheap Trick, New York Dolls, all that stuff. Like, you'll like us. Like, we play that same kind of rock, but there are people who don't like rock who like our music, because we pull from a wide variety of influences, but we're still just a straight up rock band.
I definitely, the bands you've mentioned, the intro to Sweet Summer Night, I definitely hear that. I actually think about sitting at Star Lake with Motley Crue or Kiss or Poison or Aerosmith. I've seen a lot of older bands there.
Yeah.
But like it just, the guitar, it grabbed you and brought you into the song. It was a cool intro. I liked it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And also, if you want to flip your hair a lot, I would also say that. You and Michael do that consistently in practice. You flip your hat off.
Sorry, it doesn't look like it on the video, but there is a tiny bit of hair there.
With or without hair, you can hair flip.
Speaking of the hat, since we brought that up, that says the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus. If you're not familiar with that, that's another podcast from Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. They do their podcast about guitar-driven rock. It's pretty cool. You should check it out. That's also where Chris Thunderwolf Dotson and I met, who just said hello to us. I'm sure you saw it pop up on the screen.
Oh, that's awesome.
And his company, Wolf's Customs, is a sponsor of Build the Scenes radio station. So there I plugged him while we were doing this.
Cool.
Hi.
So I mentioned earlier that we were going to feature the song Sweet Summer Night. Mm-hmm. Can each of you tell me, you can both take a shot at it, maybe tell me what it's about or the recording process that went into it or something that's funny that's happened while you were playing it, and whatever you want to tell me about the song.
I think you should go with Michael what it's about.
Okay, so basically there's a whole lot that goes into this song. Like I know I went line by line with you when you were learning it and just kind of showed you just how loaded it is. But basically I would say it's a rock anthem. It's a concert anthem, but it's a different type of rock anthem almost. It's not like the We're the Rebels and we're going to win, kind of rock anthem or we're going to party all night. This is really about how the music kind of connects with people. It's like every individual person and like you're playing to a crowd, but every person in that crowd like might be having a different experience of the song. And what I realized actually after I had written the song was, well, Keith and I know you last time we were on here, it was Keith and I who were on here. But Keith and I wrote the chorus together, but I wrote the verses. And what I realized afterwards was I had written the verses about, I would say, an emotional release I had at a concert, which was Def Leppard particularly. And it was at a time like, I was...
To interrupt real quick, I saw them at Star Lake too.
Nice.
Great.
But it was a difficult period of transition at the time, and it was one of those things where the music just really resonated really with me and just kind of helped me, kind of almost gave me the energy to kind of just move through that period and almost kind of take a leap of faith almost to being where I met Keith, who I would start this band with. But that's kind of what it's about. It's really about, obviously, being able to just cut loose at a concert, but the deeper impact that the music can have on somebody, to put it really simply.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Faith.
No, definitely. Like, I feel like when I sing it, like, and I've told Michael this because he's written most of our songs at the moment. And like, I'm trying to be in the writing process of writing our future songs, but yeah, I think like every song you can interpret it so differently. So it's about being at a concert, but I even think of different summer nights, in my opinion, like sometimes of like, okay, being somewhere like maybe a boardwalk where there's still lights and things like that, like, and relating it to my own experience. So I love that about all songs, honestly, is while singing it, like I take emotions from different places and think of emotional summer nights or just like a summer night I had with somebody, that meant a lot to me. So definitely you can take it your own twist. Some lyrics are vague enough,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a moment. We're going to listen to Sweet Summer Night by Dynasty Zero. I keep getting the X in my head and going, wait, is that right? It's pronounced the same. All right. Anyway, we'll be right back. For those of you that are watching us live, you're actually not going to get to hear the song right now, but on July 1st at 6 a.m., if you go to buildascene.com after 6 a.m., it will be there. It'll also air on buildascene.com/radio and rootarooradio.com. So you can listen to it either 24/7 by going to the website or checking out one of those streaming radio stations. All right, so now we're going to come back as if we just listened to the song. All right, that was Sweet Summer Night by Dynasty Zero. Michael and Faith are hanging out with me this evening. Faith, you are the lead singer, and Michael, you play guitar, correct?
Lead guitar, yep.
Yeah.
Who else is in the band? And no, this isn't question number 3.
So we have James, who is our rhythm guitarist, Jake, who's our drummer, and Keith, who is our bass player.
And how did you guys all meet? Like, how did it come together?
So Keith and I met in class, and yeah, we had actually a radio script writing class together, and James and I were neighbors. We were dorm neighbors, and then Jake was our sound tech, actually, who got recruited by James to be sound tech. And when we parted ways with our old drummer, we knew Jake played, and we were like, hey, do you want to join? And he said, yeah, I'll do it. Because he'd played in bands before. And he has, experience, and he was just really itching to get back into being in a band and stuff like that. And then you and I met. You want to tell this story?
Sure. Honestly,
go ahead.
We both have different versions, but Michael graduated a year before me, so he was always a year older. So when I went to Franciscan, our college, I always saw him around wearing a leather jacket, and he kind of stood out at our Catholic college because it's a very Catholic religious college.
If you don't mind me asking, which college was that?
Franciscan University of Steubenville in Ohio.
It's
like a small Catholic college. Like how I'd explain it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he always stood out, and I remember even telling my friends my freshman year, like, I just want to be friends with that guy, like, because I love classic rock, and like I've always grown up loving classic rock and things like this. So I was like, I just always wanted to be friends with him, but I didn't know if I like should go up to him and be like, hey, do you like rock music? You look like a rock band. But so it was meant to be when we both took a summer course, and there was like probably almost only 10 or 15 of us taking the summer course, and everyone who's taking that summer course had to be in the same dorm. So I kind of just eventually went up to him there, and I was just like, hey, like, I heard you're in a band, like, I love the look, kind of thing. And we just started talking, and then you approached me because I think you heard from a friend of yours that I had a good voice, but you never heard my voice.
Yeah, so, I heard from Chris, our mutual friend, No, you told me you sang when we were catching up for coffee.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, we do have different versions of this story. And you told me like it had always been like your dream to sing with a rock band.
For sure.
And then when I decided we needed a lead singer and it was time for me to go bye-bye from the microphone, that we... I remembered what you told me, and so I asked Chris about it, and he was like, yeah, if you can get Faith, get Faith.
Yeah, and then it was kind of off the cuff. Like, I remember you walked up to me in the cafeteria of our school.
Yeah.
You're like, do you want to be in our band? I was like, Michael, you don't even know what I sound like. Like, yeah, you might. I was like, that's really, you're trusting that point. So then you set up kind of like a tryout process for me because I really wanted the band to hear how I sounded. Because again, like I only want to join if you guys actually liked my sound, And then once, I was like singing. We were playing in our old drummer's basement, classic band. I played some songs for you guys, and I don't know after what song, but maybe Queen or something. I was singing for you guys because Freddie Mercury is my inspo. So so then you just told me off the cuff, like I think you maybe had a band meeting there. You like maybe talked with the guys a bit and then told me.
We had a band meeting, but we kind of were a little bit more dramatic about it than we needed to be because we just kind of huddled and went like
I know
to try and mess with you a little bit.
Hope it goes well. I don't know. Yeah.
All right, so what we're gonna do now, I had Charlie Barath on the last episode. He is a very well-known blues guitarist all over the U.S., actually, but he's from Pittsburgh. And he had a question for you. I'm going to let him ask it, but I'll edit it in later. Basically, he asked who your influences are and what the oldest rock or like heavy metal bands that you would include in that list of influences are.
I would say, do you want to go first, Faith, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. I would say if it's rock, or especially hard rock, classic metal, 80s metal, the music that's now known as hair metal, because I know the musicians themselves hate that term. We're probably influenced by it, unless it's something really proggy or like really off the wall. I can't say we were really influenced by, Frank Zappa or Dream Theater, even though that's really good stuff to listen to. It's not where we draw inspiration from. But I would say if you chase all our influences back to like probably a single group of bands, you would probably end up with like Aerosmith, Cheap Trick, New York Dolls, Led Zeppelin, that type of stuff, because those are all the bands that the bands we liked were inspired by, and Van Halen too. Like Van Halen was, I know you love Van Halen. You saw Van Halen, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my experience, yeah.
I can't say I don't envy you a little bit. Like I would have loved to have seen Eddie before he died.
Yeah.
See, that brings up another tangent question.
Yeah.
David Lee Roth or Sammy? It's hard, right?
They're
I'm interested in what you.
I'm gonna be honest. David Lee Roth and we're gonna say Van Halen and Van Hagar are two completely different sounds because the early ones, they were more tuned half step down without the keyboards. Later ones, it was more standard tuning. The flat keys have a completely different feel, and with the keyboards, completely different sound.
Mm-hmm.
They're both good. I'm personally going to go with David Lee Roth because
that was the right option.
I think they're both good, and I mean no disrespect to either of them, but it's like with Sammy Hagar. I mean, that guy he's been around the block in terms of all the bands he's been in. With I think his first band was Montrose, if I'm not mistaken, and then he was in Montrose, and then he was in Van Halen, and he was in another one between those two, and I am kicking myself for not being able to remember what it was.
Wasn't he in Chickenfoot?
He was in Chickenfoot, but that was later. Maybe it was his solo stuff that was between. Gosh, I can't believe I can't remember who it is. But I mean, the guy. I mean, he
can still sing in his 70s.
Yeah,
David Lee Roth can't.
Unfortunately, no. But
he's still fun to watch when he's on stage.
Oh yeah, he's a very entertaining guy, and that's part of why that's what made him such a great frontman. Partly because, especially when he was a bottle and a half deep in Jack Daniels, like you never knew what he was gonna do. If you've ever,
Like at the concert I went to, he stuck somebody's GoPro down his pants. He's wild. He'll put the lyrics to the songs. Like he's wild. Yeah.
Where did you see him at?
PNC Art Center. It's in New Jersey. Yeah.
I did not see them. I would have liked to. There's a list of bands that I haven't seen that I won't be able to see, but they're on that list.
Yeah.
I miss Skinnerd. I had a stack of free tickets and couldn't go because I had to work.
Are you kidding? Oh, that's
my brother went. I couldn't go.
That's a hard one. Yeah.
I don't want to be this person, but I don't want to because you couldn't go, but I would like to share that Leonard Skinnerd was my first concert. It was a great first concert.
I actually didn't even know that, Michael.
You didn't know that?
No.
No. I don't mean to be, that guy by sharing
listen,
that.
My first concert was Kiss, so
I have seen them. I saw them on their current farewell tour. We'll see if it's really the real farewell tour because I know they've been on 2 of them, I think.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah.
The first one, it was the summer of, let me do this in my head, 96, because I was working at Cedar Point.
Oh,
And,
that's fun.
96 is 2021 now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
And they went on, I think, a second farewell tour.
The farewell tour was definitely 96, but basically what happened was they came back with Tommy and who was playing guitar at that point?
Tommy Thayer. Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy, and was Eric Singer? See, they kind of, Eric Singer played drums for a while, but they brought Peter Criss back in, then they switched, and Tommy played and Bruce played, and
yeah.
it's hard to keep track.
If I recall correctly, I think it was after the farewell tour, Ace left, and then they brought in Thayer, and then after a while, Peter Criss left, and then they got Eric Singer back, because I think Eric Singer had played with them before.
Yes.
And now
Eric has played with a lot of big bands.
Yeah. And now that's just the band in its current formation. And this is just little fun fact, rabbit trail. But apparently what I heard is that any former member of KISS is going to be allowed to perform at the final show.
Yeah.
I am curious.
And if Vinnie Vincent is going to be there.
I mean, I heard about it, I think, listening to Hair Nation on Sirius, but I think they said the one guy you could almost count on being there was Bruce Kulick. I think he'll show up. I think it was it, I forget. It was the guy that Lady Gaga wrote You and I about. I can't remember his name now. But he's a DJ on that station.
Okay.
But he said he thought Tommy Thayer was going to be there. I wouldn't be surprised if Ace Frehley shows up. Like,
it's hard to say with him because, like, he does interviews where he talks about how he wanted more money and they wouldn't give him more money, and that's why he's not there. But then he co-writes songs with Gene and puts them on his solo stuff. So,
yeah, I mean, he's clearly not on. From that, like, he doesn't seem like he's on bad terms with them. I'm not sure about Peter Criss. I haven't heard much about him lately.
What I've heard is he can't play. Like, physically, he couldn't make it through set.
Oh.
I mean, they're getting up there. And
they are.
And I want to say he's the oldest of the original 4.
Yeah. I think I want to say Gene's the oldest, but I'm not sure why. I thought I heard somewhere that Gene's the oldest. I could 100% be wrong.
I am going to Google it.
Do you guys want to hear a silly KISS story?
Sure.
When I was in the 5th grade, and obviously this isn't like true dating, but my 5th grade boyfriend at the time, his dad worked with like in the concert scene, I don't know to what level or extent, and he was like, hey, like, you should come to a KISS concert with me and my dad. And I will forever regret this. I think I was nervous and I was like, I don't know if I can go that weekend. And now I look back at that 5th grade memory and I'm like, what were you thinking? That would have been my first concert if I said yes.
Yeah.
Sadly, I didn't know who KISS was at the time.
That's
but anyway.
That's fun though.
Hey,
go ahead.
So Gene was born in 1949.
Okay.
And Peter was born in 1945.
Okay, so I was wrong.
Yeah, so Peter's 75 now.
Wow. So he is. I mean, they're all getting old, but I remember, and of course, this is no shade to him at all. He's old, but Paul Stanley was having trouble hitting some of the high notes when I saw them. I mean, he can't help it. Like the fact that he's still up there performing at that age is almost a miracle. Because
Paul was born in 52.
Okay, so he's one of the youngest ones.
And let's see when Ace was born, since we're doing this.
Okay.
And Ace was born in 51.
So Paul is the youngest one of the original.
Of the original, yeah.
Yeah.
I told you we would take tangents on this show.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I tell you what, the band that I asked you guys to take a look at was Mad Clock.
Yeah.
It's different, right?
It is different. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that kind of music, no disrespect to it, but I really liked what I heard with him. And it was such a departure from what I'm assuming, would you consider that rap or hip?
Yeah, it's kind of like a dark hip hop.
Dark hip hop. Yeah. I didn't know how to really describe it, and I think he's one of those artists. It's hard to put him in a box.
I will tell you, and I didn't tell you this ahead of time. He was in a acoustic rock duo before this. Before he did this.
Cool. Well, it's a neat project. It's a neat project. If you listen to this, keep it up.
Did you come up with a question for him?
I did. Well, I actually kind of have two, actually.
We can do that. I don't follow the rules.
One being how would you describe your music? Like how would you describe it as? Because I know you described it as dark hip hop, but listening to it, the question I had was, who or what is the primary inspiration behind your music?
Like that.
Did you have a chance to listen to it, Faith?
I didn't. No.
Now you're questioning it, though, right? You're
like, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna listen to it right after this. Yeah.
All right. So, two more quick questions for you. First of all, where can listeners find your singles that you're going to be releasing and the past music?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically if it's streaming platform, Spotify, Apple, YouTube Music, all that stuff. It's on all of it, and and if you want to dance to it, it's on TikTok.
Everywhere.
I won't be doing that. And what's coming up for you guys? What do you have on the schedule?
So the next song comes out July 9th, and they're going to be every 3 weeks this summer. The next one is actually a cover, and you heard it here first. It's a cover of Blinding Lights by The Weeknd.
Yeah.
But like a rock metal version of it. And what do you think of it, Faith?
I thought it was definitely different. Like, you and Keith discussed doing this cover, and obviously you wrote the music for the different parts. I thought it was different because not that I like The Weeknd. I followed his music for a long time, but it's definitely not what you think of when you think of rock. He's definitely very mainstream, and now he's become more pop, I feel like, in R&B. But yeah, so I kind of didn't know what to think of it as a rock song, but I really love it. It takes a totally different feel to the song, and obviously a female singing it too, is a bit different, obviously. So I really love it. It was stuck in my head for the longest time after. I'll never listen to Blinding Lights again the same way. I think of the rock version of it. So it's definitely a different take on it.
Yeah. Do you have any shows coming up that you want to mention?
We've been talking to some venues and some other artists. We don't have anything booked right now because we are all coming out of the pandemic, and we're coming off a year of basically being inactive because since we're from a school that comes where people come from all over the country to go to. We got scattered, I think, a collective distance of like 1,500 miles, which is really hard to do because you were in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I was in Tennessee. Our other guitarist, James, is originally from Iowa. But now everybody, now we're all here. So like we can do stuff really easily, which the problem was, I mean, I'll just be honest. We were sheltering a really high risk family member at my house in Tennessee. So we had to be really, really careful about what we did in the middle of the pandemic. So that was the reason it took us so long to get stuff done.
That's 100% understandable. I teach at an elementary school.
Yeah.
My wife is a secretary at a different elementary school, and my kids go to a third elementary school.
Oh my gosh.
So there were a lot of germs coming through this house. Thankfully, so far we're good to go.
Good.
But all right, well, I want to thank Michael and Faith from Dynasty Zero for hanging out with me tonight. Make sure you check them out. Facebook.com Dynasty Zero Band. And I have a banner. Let's see if I can get it scrolling across there again. There it is.
Yeah, thank you.
Yay.
And I want to thank you so much for doing this for us. Thank you so much. I had so much fun. I'm learning so much now about Kiss that I've never done before. So this is exciting.
And I would also like to say that we also have an Instagram, same handle, Dynasty Zero Band, and Twitter, Dynasty Zero Band as well.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been throwing around the idea of making a TikTok, but we haven't done that yet because we're not quite sure 100% what to do with it yet. But it's fun. I mean, we kind of want to.
I don't have one.
We'd like to, get on there and just have a little fun, in case it,
we'll be on there. We'll be flipping our hair. Or something like that.
Yeah. In case it goes.
Flipping our heads off.
That's in case it goes the way of Vine or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But hey, well, hang out for a moment. Those of you that were watching live, I want to thank you all for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah,
make sure you check us out on the 1st and 15th of the month for 3 questions and a song. And every Friday we release an episode of the Pennsylvania Rock Show. And the second Saturday of each month, except July, which will be the 3rd month, you can find us on XRP Radio doing a live show called Friendly Fire, where we take music from the tri-state area to the United Kingdom, and they have to try and match bands from their playlist, and then the listeners congregate in the chat room and tell us which song they like better and why. So all of that can be found at buildascene.com. I will check you out on the 15th, and thanks again, Michael and Faith, one more time.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hang out for